Hello, our viewers and listeners. Welcome to the second International Forum of Psychologists. And today on our podcast, we are joined by José María Freire, a neuropsychologist with rare and inspiring experience working in conflict zones, and a leading expert in neuropsychological rehabilitation in Spain. He helps people recover from severe trauma, both psychically and psychologically. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you.
And my first question is, you have spent many years working in conflict zones, and in your experience, which aspects of psycho-emotional rehabilitation in extreme are the most effective in peaceful but high-stress educational environment?
Yeah, well, it's true. I've spent several years working in emergency catastrophes, and one of my professional experiences and what is called emergency psychology of emergency. Okay, so the psychology of emergency is peculiar because we need to produce an intervention in a short period of time with the most possible impact on the individual. I would say that the first step in any psychological intervention is don't produce harm. So any intervention should be helpful for the patient, for the individual. The second strategy or the second priority, that will be let's protect the victim. In any emergency, we must protect the victim, and that means taking the victim out or giving them the feeling that they are protected and safe. Okay, this is the first step in intervention. Then we need to check what is going on, what is the level of suffering that this individual is going through, because not all the individuals react in the same way. Humans, we have mechanism of coping with difficulties, and trauma is one of them. We will need to define what is trauma. Trauma is a specific reaction of the individuals in a situation that is completely out of control. And a traumatic situation is where the individual feels that it's really dangerous, is really at risk. We will need to define what is educational or challenging or traumatic situations. We can identify several situations, the ones that include, family aspects. We can include the ones situation that suffered suffer the influence of peers, friends, or other colleagues in the school, and you suffer the negative consequences of this interaction, or you can suffer the consequences of the bad practice of the teachers or the responsible for my education in a school environment. And there will be a fourth one, is related with the level of depression, the level of pressure that you put in myself because my expectations are higher, and probably they are not realistic expectations. So we must consider a well-defined what is a traumatic situation in a school environment. So these are the first step, defining well what is the problem, because in any intervention in psychology, the first step is defining the problem, because each individual acts in an individual way according to the past experiences, the strengths, the skills, the genes, the roles that of education or the models that this individual has been exposed to.
Okay, thank you for your answer. And the second my answer is, you emphasize the role of the patient in the neuro-rehabilitation process, and what strategies help motivate individuals to actively participate in restoring cognitive functions, especially when dealing with depression?
Okay, when we talk about neuro-rehabilitation, we need to talk about neuropsychology, and we need to talk as well about neurology, we talk about logopedian, we talk about physiotherapy, we talk about defectologies, we talk about multiple disciplines that have an impact in the process of recovery of the individual. But if we just talk about neuropsychology or neurorehabilitation, we need to check what is the problem. Once again, we need to define the problem. Is an acquired brain injury? Is an acquired brain problem, or is a problem linked to a neurodevelopmental process? You know, when we talk about, for example, about autism, the syndrome of autism, or when we talk about the problems related with deficit of attention, in most cases, in some cases, they are a consequence of a neurodevelopmental process. Okay, but when we talk in general about rehabilitation, or neurorehabilitation is the process of helping the individual to gain or regain functionality. What is functionality? Functionality is the capacity of individual to adapt himself or herself to the challenges of the ordinary life. The very basic ones, to take care of himself, or the more complex, other abilities or capacities that make the individual adapt to a work environment or a social or environment. Okay, so in the process of rehabilitation, again, we need to define the problem, define the characteristic of the individual in terms of which areas need to be rehabilitated and which are the areas that are really strong, that this individual keeps. They are preserved areas. So we need to consider as well that the rehabilitation process is not just a cognitive process. It's not just establishing or reestablishing functioning from memory, attention, calculation, or decision making, or speech, or other functions, but they are involved emotional aspects of the individual, because one of the main problems is accepting the problem. In children, it's not that difficult. In adults, is really a challenge. Help that individual accept a diagnosis, for example, a neurodegenerative disease in the early stages, is really difficult, emotionally difficult. In most cases, is a kind of traumatic situation. The individual must accept that his or her life is not going to be the same anymore. So the emotional process is something that we need to take care, and it goes in parallel within the rehabilitation. So we need to help them to manage the emotion, and we need to manage or to help or substitute some skills that he used to be, and help them to manage their lives, because the final goal is once again the functionality. I need to function. I need to adapt to my new circumstances. Okay, maybe I need to change the environment. Some people around me, they need to accept as well the diagnosis of the problem, but I need to change my attitude. It's something that we work with patients. Okay, finding a new meaning in their lives in spite of this this negative or circumstances.
Thank you for your huge and interesting answers. I know that you're working in Brazilian University, yes?
Yeah, I'm working here in university.
Your students are very lucky.
Yeah.
Thank you for interview.
Uh-huh.